Hello viewers, today we are going to discuss what transaction cost is and what the transaction cost theory is. So what is transaction cost? It is the cost we incur when we make exchanges during the purchase of goods and services. We can explain the transaction cost with the help of certain examples. For example, the charges for communication such as telephone and internet, or the fees charged for legal services, or the costs for producing and maintaining the car. In other words, these are the cost of playing a part in the market or the cost of alternate use. Now the transaction cost is the cost of alternate use. Let me explain it with the help of an example. For example, a person needs a t-shirt. He has two ways to get the t-shirt. Either he purchased the shirt directly from the market, or he may get the material of the shirt, hire a designer to design a shirt, and then go to the tailor to make the shirt. If we analyze, he may incur the higher cost in the second option, as he has to pay for the material separately and then get the material, go to the designer, pay him, then go to the tailor and pay him separately. On the contrary, he may incur lesser cost if he directly purchases the shirt because the t-shirt companies are taking everything at once and on whole. Therefore, cost by them will be less. And this is how we explain transaction cost as its cost of alternate use. Now, what is transaction cost theory? The theory of transaction cost is a contractual concept developed by British economist Ronald Coase in the year 1937. Transaction cost theory, also known as Coase theorem, is basically a legal and economic theory that affirms that where there are complete competitive markets with no transaction costs, an efficient set of inputs and outputs to and from production optimal distribution are selected, regardless of how property rights are divided. Or in simpler terms, we can say that in absence of transaction cost, the allocation of resources is independent of distribution of property rights. Therefore, Coase argued that it is important to always compare alternative institutional arrangements to see which will come closest to the unattainable ideal of the world of transaction cost. The point of Coase theorem is basically that if there are no transaction costs, then as long as property rights are well defined and tradable, then for efficiency, it doesn't matter who runs or owns the property rights initially. To get the clearer idea of what the transaction cost is and therefore what the theory is all about, we should have a clear concept about the types of the transaction cost. As we can see from the chart, transaction cost is of two types: coordination cost and motivation cost. Coordination cost is of further three types. First type is the search cost, the another type is the bargaining cost, and the third type is the contracting cost. While as the motivation cost has got two concepts of hidden information and hidden cost. Now first of all we will understand what the coordination cost is. Since we know transaction cost covers all the costs that are involved in making and carrying out or simply completing a transaction between two parties or more. Now a part of these transaction costs arises out of need to coordinate certain activities and actions required for completion of the transaction to the satisfaction of all the parties involved, and such a part of the cost is the coordination cost, or in simple terms, coordination cost is the cost of getting things done. First type for the coordination cost is the search cost. Search costs are also called as information costs, and these costs incurred in determining that the required good is available in the market which has the lowest cost, or simply the cost we incur while searching for a particular product is the search cost. Money spent to travel between the stores examining different options is the search cost for a particular customer. Now the other type is the bargaining cost. These are the costs required to come to an acceptable agreement with the other party to the transaction, drawing up an appropriate contract. So the bargaining costs are basically the costs incurred while negotiating with the other party. Now, the contracting costs. These are also called as policing and enforcement costs and are the costs of making sure that the other party sticks to the terms of contract and taking appropriate action if this turns out not to be the case. Now, to get the clearer picture of all the three costs, let me give an example. For example, the buyer of a used car faces a variety of different transaction costs. First, the search costs are the costs of finding a car and determining the car's condition. The bargaining costs are the costs of negotiating a price with a seller. And finally, the contracting costs are the costs of ensuring that the seller delivers the car in the promised condition. Now coming to the motivational cost, what motivational cost is? These are simply the costs incurred that provides one to behave in a certain manner. Or as the word suggests, the motivational costs are the costs incurred by the company while motivating the employee or the other party of the contract. There are two concepts associated with the motivation cost. First is that of hidden information and other is that of hidden cost. What is hidden information? Hidden information simply means that one party to the transaction has more information regarding the past that is relevant to the transaction than the other party or parties. Or in other words, when after the contract is made, one of the actor's actions is observed, but its qualities can't be determined, is the hidden information. Thus the company incurs the cost for the things they don't know. For example, when a meritorious employee is unable to perform in an organization, it is due to the fact that a company was not aware that he can't perform well. Now the other concept is that of hidden action. The problem of hidden action is sometimes referred to as the problem of moral hazard, in that the behavior of a party can't be reliably or costlessly observed after entering a contract. Thus, after contract is made, when one of the actor's actions can't be observed, that is the hidden action. For example, hidden action cost is the cost incurred by the company when the employees, despite of good performance with other companies, don't perform actually in the current company, as he may not be motivated or due to some other reason. So the cost incurred by the company due to this hidden action of an employee is the hidden action cost. So this was all about transaction cost and transaction cost theory. Thank you.